Tips for having a great past life regression in Dolores Cannon's group regression workshop. This is the online edition. Hi, I'm Jeff Broomfield, and I'll be your guide during this amazing experience. And I do these online, and currently I'm using a piece of software called Zoom. And you can download that from zoom.us. And you have to install that, of course, on a computer or a phone. And if you're using a phone, you'll want to make sure that it's fully charged. It's a 2-hour-long session, so either it's fully charged or it's plugged in and charging. And if your phone has a problem lasting for 2 hours on video, then I would suggest making sure you got something around so that you can plug it in halfway through. One thing is that if your phone does disconnect, that it's impossible to get stuck in hypnosis, so you'll be safe anyways. You'll also need a pen and a paper so that you can write down whatever it is that you saw when you come out of the regression. And I'll give you some time to actually write that down. You can also type it down if you want to, and it'll be easier if you type it if you want to participate and share with the rest of the group, because it'll already be typed and you just copy and paste. Another option that you have, you'll be muted during the session when the regression is happening, and so you can actually speak your answers out loud and you can record yourself. So that's another option for you. Just make sure that your audio is muted. Video is not necessary, but it is helpful to have at least some people on video. You can actually phone in if you want, and Zoom has a bunch of call-in numbers. You can just call in, and you don't even have to have video if you don't want to. Also, I like to calibrate. So if I've got people to watch and I can see what's going on with the people, then I can calibrate to them and adjust my pace according to what I see going on with those people. So it's more interactive if you're on video. Make sure that you're comfortable. So you want to be in a comfortable chair. And of course, you'll want something with a back, something to make sure that if you happen to fall asleep, that you won't fall out of the chair and hurt yourself or anything. And if you find that you do this kind of thing and you go too deep into trance, then make sure that you're sitting up more. If you have a problem getting into trance, then you can lay down if you want to. The more comfortable you are, the deeper in trance that you'll go. Now, this is not a full session, and it's not the same as a QHHT session or any of the other modalities that I use. It's not a full hypnosis session. This is just a light trance that we're going to utilize. And in some of my other sessions, we utilize a state called somnambulism, but we're not going there for this. So a lot of people will go deep for this, but not as deep as you would during a regular session. One thing I wanted to add here is to reduce your caffeine intake before the session. So whether it's coffee, tea, or pop, reduce how much caffeine that you drink before the session. We don't want you all hyped up when we're trying to put you in a trance. So avoid the caffeine as much as you can. Okay, so it's just a light trance. And when you're imagining, just go with whatever comes to your mind. Whatever you think, just go with that. Don't judge it. Don't second guess what you're seeing. Just allow it to happen. And if it seems like you're making it up, just go with it. Because this is your imagination. We are using your imagination. So it's going to seem like you're making it up because that's the part of the brain that it's coming from. And as you witness what's going on and you watch what's happening or you hear what's happening, I want you to observe in as much detail as possible and recognize that the inflow, the information that comes to you, is actually limited by the outflow. So if you stop and you start looking at things and you start second guessing stuff, then you're going to limit how much more stuff is coming to you. And there's different ways to visualize. Some people visualize and they actually, it's not like you see with your eyes, it's another visualization. So if I was to say, picture a pink elephant, right? You didn't see that with your regular eyes. You saw that with a picture in your mind, which is totally different than your vision. And so that's one way of visualizing. Another is that some people just have a knowing. So everybody visualizes, and it's whether or not you're consciously aware and you can see the pictures. And so if you don't see a picture of a pink elephant, then maybe what you do is you know what it looks like. You know, in the back of your mind, you have the picture there. If you couldn't visualize, you couldn't remember people, because you have to have an imprint, a memory, a picture associated with them in your mind. And when you see them, then their name will jump to mind. And it works that way because if you don't see the picture, it's still happening at the unconscious level, and it just feeds you that information. So it could be that you just have a knowing. You could hear something. It could be that you have the sound, somebody saying something to you, or you have the sounds or the impressions of what was happening. And some people have the feelings. So they feel their way through the experience, and they feel the things rather than so much seeing what they're looking at. Everybody has a different strength in their visualization. And so whatever yours is right, and just go with it. And if you don't think that you can visualize, then the best thing that you can do is to pretend that you're visualizing. Now, what's going to happen during the session is that I'm going to ask you to, say you're going to step into a room and visualize and see what's in that room. And so when you see what's in that room, I'll give you some time to actually look around that room. And I might give you, say, 30 seconds or so, and that'll give you time to look at what's going in the room. And then I'll give you an instruction to move in to the next scene, whatever that next thing is. And then I'll give you some time to do that. So there's going to be a lot of blank spaces, and that blank space is for you to visualize and to have your experience. If this was a one-on-one session, it would be more interactive. You'd be talking back to me. I'd give an instruction. I'd wait to hear back from you. I mean, sometimes it takes 30 seconds, maybe even a minute sometimes for somebody to answer something. So a one-on-one session is completely different than what you get here. So you will remember, and I'll place a suggestion in there that you're going to remember what you see. And you're going to remember it long enough that you can write it down. So it's just like a dream. So if you have a dream, what happens is you wake up from your dream, and then it starts drifting away from memory. After a little while, it's gone. You don't even remember your dream. But if you start to write it down right away, then you will remember more of it because you wrote it down and you've got that association that goes with it. So you will remember, and writing it down will solidify that memory of it. So after we're done going and having that experience, I'll come back, and there's going to be a few different points where we're going to come back, and that's the interactive part where we're going to ask people to share what they experienced. Of course, you don't have to do that if you're not comfortable with it. The more people that share, the better experience that we're going to have. And if we have too many people, then we won't be able to get to everybody, but we'll do our best to share with what we have and talk about people's experience. That's a big part of this. Is an amazing experience for everybody to have. So you're in the chat, or if you don't want to type it, if you type your stuff in, then you'll have, rather than write it down, then you'll have that to copy and paste into the chat for later. And another way you can do that is unmute yourself, and you can share on video what your experience was, and we'll have a little chat about what happened. And the most important thing is to have a lot of fun with this, because it's a fun experience. So if you haven't yet, make sure you join my Facebook group, and I'll put a link. I'll put a link in the description here along with the video. I'll also put in a Zoom link so you can make sure that you've got the application downloaded and set up ahead of time. And the other option that you have is that you can go to my website, and I'll put a link down here to my website, and you can join my email list, and you'll receive notifications. I do these every once in a while, every 6 weeks or every 12 weeks. It all depends on my schedule and what I've got going on. So I do these frequently. And so just watch for them. or you can join my email list, or you can join my Facebook group, and you'll receive notification whenever I'm going to host another one of these. Anyways, so thanks for tuning in, and stay awesome and have a good one.